गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. Sebastian, can you put your audio off, please?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां. This is one of the compositions of Adi Shankaracharya called Swaroopanusandhanam Shatkam. Shatkam means 8 verses. How many are there? They are confusing me. There are 9. They say Shatkam, but they give 9. So maybe the... Is it... Oh, sorry, Ashtakam. Ashtakam. But Ashtakam means 8. But here there are 9 verses, so maybe the 9th one is the Falashruti. So you got the text? Achha, I can send it to you. I got it. So, you want me to? No, I don't have it here. So, Ashtakam means 8 verses, and it's a garland of 8 verses. Ashtakam, and and these are 8 verses of how to get connected to your essence, Swarup. Sandhana, sadhana, sandhana. Sandhana is connecting. Sandhana is joining. Sandhana is focusing. Sandhana is intuiting that essence. And that is the topic of this text, the composition by Adi Shankaracharya. The first verse goes, Tapo yajnadhanadi vishuddha buddhihi virakto nrupade pade tuchha buddhya parityajya sarvam yadapnoti tattvam param brahma nityam tadevahamasmi. I will read it again. I'm just getting the tune. Tapo yajnadhanadi vishuddha buddhihi virakto nrupade pade tuchha buddhya parityajya sarvam yadapnoti tattvam param brahma tattvam tadevahamasmi. You can transfer it to her on the phone, or in the Gita group you can put it, share it. So, param brahma tattvam tad eva aham asmi. I am, aham asmi. What I am? That I am. Eva, only that I am. Only I am. What is that? Tad, that alone I am. I'm going backwards. Nityam tad eva aham asmi. Eternal, that eternal alone I am. Brahma, that supreme, Param Brahma, that transcendental reality, that transcendental consciousness, which is eternal in nature, that alone I am. And what is that? Here it says, Tapo yajna dhanadi vishuddha buddhihi. And what is that? I am that Brahman that Brahman whom a person attains having. And When do you attain that? Yesterday we were looking at in Kathopanishad that from extrovertedness you have to go back to being the self, or second way is to recognize that the world, the senses, the mind, the intellect, all are part of the world and they are not worth giving a second thought. And in whose presence all these are going on? That is the Swaroop. In whose presence all this is going on? In whose presence? In whose womb, if we may say, this physical world is coming and going? In space, isn't it? So same way, in whose presence all the three worlds of waking, dream and deep sleep are coming and going? In whose presence all the names and forms, all the stimuli are coming and going, all the thoughts are coming and going, all the convictions are coming and going, all the desires are coming and going, past, present, future is coming and going. In whose presence? See. So, a person attains having developed a sense of detachment. Viraktaha. Virakta, what you have to be this sense of detachment from the worldly pleasures, and which is a result of the dispassionate attitude towards royal pleasures and one's position in society. This is one big. Remember the three Ashanas? Remember? What were they? Vitteshana, Putreshana and Lokeshana. The sequence is Putreshna, Vitteshna, Lokeshna, or Vitteshna, Putreshna, Lokeshna. I got all this money. For whom do I do all this money? Paida hai karo ek bachcha. So it can be in any order. Depends what has come in your life first. If name and fame has come first, or this happens in sannyasi mathadipatis also. They create a mutt and they are getting old, and then the worry comes. I have created such a big, huge complex, and so many devotees are coming. After I go, then who will take care of all this? That attachment to what you have built, the empire. Nrupade pade. Nrupade. Nrupa means king, kingly disposition. So you are the king in your own ashram, like you are the king in your own house. So imagine what in the ashram, everyone is coming, you are feeding, everyone is coming to your temple, hundreds and thousands of people are coming. You feel that it's a euphoria for politicians if 100,000 people are standing in front of them, even if they have come when you have given them money. But it's euphoria that so many people have come. It's an elixir. Next place I go, I want a similar response. So here it is saying that one must develop a sense of detachment from the worldly pleasures. One must, there is a word in Sanskrit called, what is that called? Finding fault in others. What do you call that? Sanskrit mein yaad hai? Galti dhundna. Some word is there in Sanskrit.
In English, blaming?
No, not blaming. Finding fault. You are wonderful girl, Geeta, but. Huh? No, not Tuchhabhav. There's a word for it. Anyway, when it comes, it will come. So we have to move around in this world in such a manner that, yes, it has been a source of pleasure for us, but now we must look at everything that we come across or the world throws at us with the attitude of, what is the fault in it?
Dosha buddhi.
Dosha buddhi. Dosha buddhi. Dosha buddhi. Thank you. Why no?
You told us.
No, but you remembered, no? Dosha buddhi. Find fault with everything in this world. including your wife and children. What is the dosha buddhi in wife and children? They might go before I go. Then what am I going to do? No, that is not going. Khayal acha hai. But it can happen. See? So find fault with everything. Then automatically your urges to involve and associate and desire the worldly pleasures. And what is the sequence of worldly pleasures? In Bhagavad Gita we saw in chapter 2, Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsaha Sangasteshu Upajayate. So Dhyayato means when you think of anything in your mind, in your imagination or outside for long enough, Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsan. Vishaya means objects. The root word of all the objects is Visha, poison. So Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsaha. Pumsa means humans, beings. It is not animals, living beings, human beings. So when human beings contemplate, meditate, think about of any Vishaya object which is of the nature of poison, the word itself says that, then what? Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsa Sangasteshu Upajayate. When you think about it for a little bit longer than is required, then you will develop a sense of memory about it, or you will develop a sense of desire for it. Sangasteshu Upajayate. So Sangasteshu means you get attached to it. Your attachment will only happen and it will create a memory. So you are sitting here, every day you come, you are not interested in this house, you come for the satsang. But you know where the sofas are kept, you know which pictures are there, you know if the seat where I am talking from, if it is changed somewhere, then immediately you will notice it. Why? Memory is there, that's why. And whether you like it or not, a statement will come. The statement will come. How come Nagaraj is looking a bit different today? I went to a marriage, he was wearing white shirt, cream shirt and pants. Very smart fellow. I said, क्या हो गया इसको? But today I now found something else. He is looking younger. So, something different, isn't it? Immediately we pass a comment. Why that was? Because it was not corresponding to our previous memory of it, association with it. And this comment that comes out, it is a desire. It is not, it's nothing else but a desire. How come? So, detachment from the worldly pleasures, which is a result of the dispassionate attitude towards royal pleasures. So when we have given zero value to worldly pleasures, when we have given zero value to objects, why? Dosha buddhi. Why? Because they are wish in their essence, they are poison in their essence. Are you poison in your essence?
No.
Does your name say wish in between? Does the word self or Atman or Brahman or Paramatman, does it have any word called wish in between? No. Then what does it have? Vishaya. In that the wish is there. Vishnu, in that wish is there. So is he the poisonous god? No. He is the one who removes all the way poison. Therefore Vishnu. So how do we develop it? Which is the result of dispassionate attitude. How do you develop dispassion? Brainstorming. How do you develop dispassion? You can also communicate. How do you develop dispassion?
Paying attention or giving importance to anything.
Huh?
By not giving any attention or importance to anything.
Okay. Anyone else?
Samatvam, have
He
equanimity.
says samatvam. Samatvam means equanimity. That is also one way. What else? How do you develop dispassion towards anything?
By looking at its changing nature.
Oh, by looking at its ephemeral nature. Okay. Anything else?
If your attention is towards the God, then everything else becomes unimportant.
If your attention is towards the divine, then everything else become that which is other than the divine, which is called undivine, loses its impact on you. And slowly, dispassion starts getting inculcated. That is also. So all these things, see how you are giving answers.
One more thing is not taking ownership or attachment.
Not giving any ownership of attachment, but that you will do it only when you have found dosha buddhi. That means if you have found fault with that, only then you will not give it value. If you find some value in it, you will not detach from it. You find value in satsang, therefore you come. In order to not come to satsang, either you have to find fault in the satsang, meaning this talk that is coming, or the person who's giving it, or the environment, or the Samhita and Parag, or the driving, or the traffic. Somewhere you have to put blame. Then you will withdraw from whatever you are in. Mind, it is good, as long as you know the principle. Now, which one is applying where, that you have to work out. Everywhere same thing is not going to be applied, no? So the best way to one way is all your reasons were valid, and also discrimination. When we discriminate between the real and the unreal, between the constant and the changing. So what is changing? Start contemplating, and start contemplating on what. Don't do it in your mind, do it on pen and paper, because otherwise mind will take you for a ride somewhere. If we have not learned to discipline our mind and stay with one thought for a long period of time, then pen and paper is the best. And then you find out, acha, this is it, this is changing, this is finite, this is existing in its own absence. Then what is? Someone is not there. You look around, you can't find. Eventually, when there is nothing to hold on to, then you will come back to yourself. But before you come back to yourself, in between part is dispassion. In between part. When I is not getting attached to any object, when aham is not getting associated, giving value, attached to any object, and not just because, it can be because, as he said, when your attention goes to divine, therefore you are not attached. Second reason could be because the Guru told me, I just follow what he says. Story over, no responsibility. All responsibility is Guru's. Third, those who are sadhaks, they say, no, I understand this. And you have written the list. These are the faults in the 5 elements. These are the fault in the body, breath, mind, intellect. These are the faults in whatever other things that you can think of, and you make a list. Once you have made the list and sincerely, genuinely, committedly contemplated that all this is unnecessary, all this is not required, oh Lord, wean me away from all this. Because ego can only for some time separate itself. By habit it will go back. Yesterday we saw Nidra, Alasya, Pramad. The Pramad comes up. But when we pray to the Lord, who is not of the nature of Pramad, he is of the nature of effulgence, he is of the nature of light, he is of the nature of supreme knowledge, which is beyond the relative knowledge. So when we invoke him, by his grace, as Parag said, by his grace, we will be able to, without knowing or with knowing, doesn't matter, we will be able to withdraw. And that is the, and this is the way the person who is continuously contemplative on the self, Swaroopanusandhanam or Anusandhanam, the one who is hooked to the self, automatically he will start cultivating a dispassionate attitude towards the world. In fact, such a person inside is dispassionate, outside is fully involved in the world. This is what we see in great Mahatmas. They move around, they talk, they joke, they teach, they move everywhere, but inside they have got zero value to all this, because they know what? For them, it is not that I have to get away, I want to have dispassion from this. Realized masters, what is their disposition? Aham Brahmasmi, I am everything. What can I, wherever life is going, it's okay. I am everywhere. So here, tapo, virakto nrupadehe pade tat tuchha buddhya, tuchha buddhi, tuchha buddhya. And what was that? Putreshana, Vitteshana and Lokeshana. Nrupadhe. So first we become virakta, dispassionate towards the objects of the world, and once we have seen there is no value in it, then the bigger things, what are the nripadehe pade, what would be that? Then that will percolate into higher worlds. Then I don't want to go to heaven. I don't want to go to Brahmalok. I don't want to go to the seventh heaven. I don't want to go anywhere. I want to only go to the Paramatma. Then I don't want to get distracted by higher desires. Higher desires are Bhur, Bhuva, Swa, Tapaha, Janaha, Maha, Satyam, these 7 lokas. It's an itch. You want to go and experience, Swamiji, I was there and Hanumanji was sitting next to me and he was showing me Ramchandraji like he did to Tulsidas ji. And sir, when I looked at Ram, suddenly my eye opened and I'm in my bed. Someone said, Swamiji, I was on the operating theatre and I don't know what happened. Suddenly I blanked out, and when I blanked out, I found myself going out of the body and I went to the heavens. I enjoyed everything and I went to the, not heaven, Vaikuntha. Vaikuntha she went. I went to the Vaikuntha, that is the place of Lord Narayana, and I saw everything and I met all the gods there. They were and they welcomed me like I was I don't know who. And then suddenly I found myself awake, and where was I? In my bed, in my room, in the hospital room. Operation was over. Hota hai ye sab. Why it happened? Because somewhere inside a desire is there that I want to see what heaven is. I want to see what will be the Siddha Loka, where all the great masters are living. What will be that heaven where all the ancestors are living? What will be that world where all the great musicians, Gandharva Lok, the musicians and the Apsaras, the angels, they are living? What would be it like? Wow, I can't imagine. Somewhere if that desire is there, then you get distracted. Then you will not go to Swaroopanusandhanam. You will not come to the self. You are bypassed you are not bypassed, you got distracted. It's straight as that. So where have you gone? From worldly pleasures, you dropped worldly pleasures, but instead you ended up in heavenly pleasures. What is the word? Nrupadehe pade. Where everything is at your beck and call. You think and it's available. Here you have to struggle, you have to work hard, and then you can put food on the table. Nripadehe pade, which is the result of the dispassionate attitude towards royal pleasures and one's position in the society. Tapo yajna danadibihi shuddha buddhi. How do you bring this about? How do you bring vairagya? We did a brainstorming. You all gave one reason, few of you. Now here they have given what is the result. How such a dispassion can be inculcated. Because see, answer has to be for a person who's not interested in the self. Maybe he's interested in God. Maybe another person is not interested in God. He is interested in heaven. But to get to heaven, he still needs to be dispassionate towards this physical world. Then only he can get there. See? Sadhana to karni padegi. Without sadhana, you can't get there. So here it is told, tapo yajna danadibihi shuddha buddhihi. So dispassion is a consequent product of purified intellect. And how does a purified intellect? Shuddha buddhihi. Shuddha buddhihi, how does it come about? It comes about as comes as a result of tapo yajna danadi etc. Bhihi etc. So what are they? It's a result of practicing austerities such as penance, sacrifice, charity, etc. So what is tapa? Tapa is austerities. This is what Parshuramji was practicing on the Mandarachal mountain. Austerity. Giving food to Devi but himself not eating. Putting her to sleep but himself being awake. Today someone SMS'd me. The same person who disturbed me yesterday when I was towards the end of the lecture on the phone. He said, Swamiji, can I have one moment of yours? I said, okay. क्या था उसका क्वेश्चन? He asked that why do I keep getting attached to the world? If I am practicing meditation every day, every now and then I get the glimpse, but I get pulled out into the world. Why? This was his question. Where am I going wrong? Now I remember the exact question of his. The exact question was, Swamiji, I am aware of the world. I am absolutely alert. Where my finger is going, what I am typing, what my eyes are seeing, wherever the attention goes, I am absolutely alert. Is that it? Or is there something else after that? He should listen to this. See? So what is he aware of? This is what I answered him. What are you aware of? The world. What you should be aware of? Self. Can you be aware of the self? Make an attempt, find out what happens. You will vanish. Swaroopanusandhanam. See? So, austerity, tapasya. What is the highest tapasya? Tell me. What is the highest tapasya? Tapasya means austerity. What is the highest austerity? Tapasya can be standing on legs, standing on one hand, standing upside down. There are tamasic austerities, rajasic austerities, sattvic austerities. What is the greatest austerity?
Remembering the self.
He said, remembering the self. Anyone else? What is the greatest austerity? What was Brahmaji's austerity? What was Brahmaji's tapas?
Tapa.
Huh?
Tapa.
Tapaha. What was his tapas?
Om.
Yes.
Chanting Om.
Chanting Om. And why did he chant Om? Well, he was told, do tapas. He was not given any job description. He was told, chant Om. He started chanting Om. And as a result of chanting Om, Om ne ऐसे नहीं अंदर ही चल रहा था. And when he started chanting Om, automatically the purpose became clear for him that the Lord has brought me out of his navel. I have manifested because I got a job description, and that is create the creation. And what is the best way to create the creation? As an offering to the source. As an offering to the source. We chant 3 Oms and Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Sada Shiva Samarambham. That is offering to the source. First is the second is the lineage, and first is the Guru. But while chanting, are we aware of the Atmic principle within? Or are we focused on what is coming out of the mouth? What impression is it making on others? Am I doing a good job or not? Or are we aware? You have done studies, you have been listening also. I have been also listening, studying, contemplating, practicing for so many years now. There's no end to learning. But at this moment, when you are sitting in front of seekers and you are taking a text, at that time, are you only going to talk from the text, or are you also going to talk from your experience? It must happen automatically, spontaneously. Then what are you going to do? See, you are the trigger, or these words are the trigger. And if this text was not there, suppose someone had said, what was that? Maya Panchakam. If we had taken Maya Panchakam, then those words in the Maya Panchakam would have been the trigger, and the talk would be totally different. Correct? But right now it is, what is it? Swaroopanusandhanam. Swaroopanusandhanam. So Swaroopanusandhanam. So these are the triggers. So when that word, how did I begin the talk? I'm just going back into memory. I took the word ashtakam, I took the word not sandhanam. Why did I say sandhanam? Anusandhanam. Anusandhanam, tethered to what? To the Swarupa, to the truth. How do we get tethered to the truth, to the Swarup, to the spirit? And automatically each word started expanding itself. Each word started manifesting as the various words of explanation, examples, etc., etc. Same thing when I said, when he said here, one's position in society. The moment that came, what was the thought? The 3 ashanas. So these are all triggers. The moment husband comes in front of the wife, she gets triggered. The wife gets triggered. When is this? This is at 6:30, 7 o'clock in the evening. If he just says, hello darling, she knows it's tea time. Or he's hungry. Or we need to, whatever we need to. It's a news time or whatever. So are we involved in it? Because these words are there, eyes are seeing it, the words are going to the mind, and that word is triggering a response from the intellect and the mind. Correct? And the organ of action, which is speech. Speech is coming out. Am I disturbed by what is coming out, or am I watching what is coming out? If I take control of what is coming out, then you will come to know. Simple as that. But if I'm standing apart, the teacher is standing apart and watching, that should be the correct way. That is the correct way. See? So tapasya. What is the highest tapasya? This was Brahmaji's tapasya. What was his tapasya? to chant Om, he heard the word. Our Swamiji told 1621, 1621, 1621. 16th alphabet in the Sanskrit language is Ta, and the 21st alphabet is the Pa. Sanskrit student, check it if I am saying correct or not. Huh? Tapa. So what to tapa? Tapa means what? I don't know what tapa means, Brahmaji is saying. And he closed his eyes and thought, and because no data, no, everything empty. So immediately the mind was connected and the Lord revealed that the tapas is on the chant Om. And he started chanting Om very quickly because no distraction. The Om revealed. And what did it reveal? What his purpose was to create the creation as an offering to the Narayana. So what is your highest tapasya? That is my question.
Realize the self.
Huh?
Realize the self.
Yeah, that is done. How will you realize the self? Our highest tapas. Anyone on the Zoom in the virtual world? Huh?
Be yourself.
Huh?
Be the self.
Free
Be the
the,
self.
be or free?
Be
Be the self. Be the self. Okay. Then if you are being the self, there is no tapasya. Tapasya necessarily involves some happening. Correct? Tapasya karni hai. Be yourself, तो tapasya क्या हो गई? That is not a tapasya. So tapasya is to be is correct, to be free from I, thought. To be free from I thought is the highest tapasya. Okay. परित्यज्य सर्वं यदा आपनोति तत्वम. And we saw that already, that you have Parityajya. Parityajya is become, he has dropped away, he has let go, he has grown out of, he has, what do you call, yeah, all this. And Sarvam, everything. Yada apnoti tattvam. Yad, and then apnoti tattvam. After having dropped everything, after Parityajya means discarding. Having discarded everything, apnoti tattvam. Now he is focused, now he is accepting, he is focused on the tattva, which is the essence. Param Brahma Nityam Tad Eva Aham Asmi. Parabrahma Nityam Tadeva Aham Asmi. And in this way, first was penance, second was sacrifice. Now what is sacrifice? Yajna. What is yajna? Yajna, traditionally, what does it mean? You make a square box of certain dimensions. We just did it few weeks ago, where we chanted the entire Durga Saptashati with each mantra and ahuti in the fire. You invoke the fire, and taking it as a pratik, as a symbol of the truth, because fire burns everything. So I invoke the fire to burn away all the shortcomings in me. And what are all the shortcomings? All the desires, all the attachments, all the indulgences, all the shortcomings, including I. And how do I do that? By feeding the fire with the mantras of the Devi. So we took every mantra of the Devi and offered the ahuti. And usually you say, when we say swaha, swa, in that the word swa is coming. We are offering ourselves also. So in that manner, this is the traditional understanding, that you invoke the fire and you offer the ahutis. The next understanding, what happens by this, offering ahuti in the fire, what happens?
The Lord Agni takes the things
Lo-
to the lotus.
Very good. The fire god in our Sanatan, in the Vedas, the fire is not just a physical fire. It is also a deity. It is a productive potential. It is a aspect of the divinity, which is expressing as fire. So what does this fire god do? He takes the food that we have offered him and he takes to the heavens to as the food to all the other gods. Where are these gods? Swamiji, just now you said they are in the heaven. Where are these gods? Think outside the box.
It is within the body.
Within the body.
Good. Someone remembered. Two people remembered. Everyone else?
In the body.
In the body. The sun is the right eye, moon is the left eye, Indra is the mind or the hands, Vishnu is the feet, Shiva is the heart, Ashwini Kumars are the nostrils, the various directions are the ears. And in this way, every god that you can think of is represented in this body. Why? This body is the microcosm, and when we talk about gods, they are in the macrocosm. The heaven is in the macrocosm, isn't it? So when we are offering the fire, it's not only the fire outside. There is the tapasya that is required, the focus that is required to chant the mantras correctly, the alertness that is required to keep the back straight and commit without any tamas, without any inertia in your disposition while performing the yajna. The fire is, as much as that fire is going on outside, the fire within also starts arising. That fire is born out of focus. That fire is born out of concentration, single pointedness, complete commitment to that. For whom is this? This is the gross. This is at the karma level. But there is another yajna going on. We know which one?
The food offering or all the eyes, nose, ear, taking the input.
Yes. So the sacrificial pit in which the fire is invoked. So that pit, these two eyes are the pit. Continuously the ahutis, the world is offering the form and the color as offering into the eyes, the holes of the eyes. Continuously the sounds are being offered as ahuti, as an offering to the yajna kund of the 2 ears. Continuously all the smells are being offered as the ahuti offerings to the yajna kund of the 2 nostrils. Continuously the taste is being offered as the ahuti to the yajna kund of the mouth. See, this is the, from gross we have come to subtle. We have come to this body, okay, not even subtle, body level. We never think that way. What is next? One more level of yajna going on. Think.
Mantras as thoughts to the mind.
Yes. So, whether mantras or no mantras, at this moment also, all the thoughts are being offered as the ahuti offering to the sacrificial fire or the sacrificial kunda of the mind. Continuously thoughts are getting offered. But you have to see it as an offering. You can see it only if you are standing apart. If you are involved, you are not seeing. Only if you are standing apart. See? This part. Here I can see, I can be involved in talking and yet I can see, yes, I understood what you were saying. But when we are talking about the thoughts being offered as the ahuti, as the offering to the yajna kund of the mind, every one of you can appreciate that yes, that is what is happening. Here I can see the shape of the yajna kund. Correct? Can you see the shape of the yajna kund, the square thing? Here outside we make it square, but can you see the shape of the mind? By the time you get to that point, you will vanish. Or you will be very quickly, you will be purified. So, sacrifice. Life is not about anything. Wherever there is duality, wherever there is sense of otherness, wherever there is you and the other, life must be lived of sacrifice. Get out of all this love and unconditional love, soulmate, and all that is nothing. It should be every moment of your existence, life must be of sacrifice. So if you are sitting in meditation, that also is sacrifice, because you are sacrificing your whole idea of you to the infinite truth. That is also sacrifice. But that thought must always remain inside as you are moving in this world. Tapo yajna dana. Dana is, then why did they say tapas first and yajna second and dan third? First was, what was the greatest tapas we said? Freedom from I. Then we came to the sacrifice at all the different levels I explained. Now we come to the total gross level, which is dana. How do you purify yourself? Give away everything you have. Done. See, dan does not mean give away everything you have. But if someone comes to you, don't let him go empty-handed. That is done. If you see someone in need, helping that person at that moment is done. And don't make that person feel that you have done a favor. You understand? Because they have their dignity. If they feel that they are the receiver, they fall in their own eyes. Then you, instead of helping them, we have done disservice to them. So if these parameters are maintained and you build up that, by helping them, you build up their confidence about themselves, about their life, about their ability, etc., etc. And you are doing it in plenty. You are not a stingy in your, not only by wealth, but also your time and your space and your availability and your, in all ways. See, one girl is there, and in her, we have an overflow of students, so we asked her, you want to keep one more? Okay, I'll keep one more. But this fellow who has come, he is a bit unsure of him. He has come before to Australia, he didn't like it, he went back. Again he has come back, a lot of money at home, and I don't think I want to stay here. I can make more money on the stock market in India. What is education going to give me? Why my parents are sending me? Auntie, please tell my parents I want to go back. He's going on and on and on and on. And then mummy calls from there, hey, can you tell I'm sending you this link, you please forward it to my son and tell him to meditate. Then he will become calmer. Then he will not be anxious. She is reacting for some moments. Swamiji, this is not my job. Why should I take care of him? I'm just giving him a room, let him come, stay. I have to be a mother. My children are grown up. I don't want to go back into it all over again. I go, why don't you do the same thing, enjoy it? You are getting money, no? You are able to travel, no? तो यू वांट मनी ऑल्सो, ट्रैवल ऑल्सो. फ्री में तुम्हारे को सेवा करने को मौका मिल रहा है, करो और मजे लो. हाउ मच टाइम विल इट टेक by saying some good words to motivate him or something? No, nothing happens as a coincidence in life. Everything is happening the way it should be. This is what we need to learn. So what I needed to learn, you all decided. Swami, Swaroopanusandhanam. Therefore this text is going on right now. Why that person has come? Why only that person has come? She needs to. He's triggering something out of her, so she needs to learn that. Simple as that. See? So we are placed, wherever we are placed in life, it is for a reason. Learn and move on. तपो यज्ञदानादि विशुद्ध बुद्धि विरक्तो निर्पादे पदे तुच्छ बुद्ध्या परित्यज्य सर्वं यदाप्नोति तत्त्वं परं ब्रह्म नित्यं तदेवाहमस्मि. परं ब्रह्म नित्यं तदेवाहमस्मि. I am that Brahman, Param Brahma Nityam, which is transcendental, supreme, eternal. That alone I am. And how do I gain that? By discarding the whole world, accepting the essence, apnoti tattvam, accepting the essence, and become dispassionate towards all the worldly enjoyments as well as the higher heavenly enjoyments. And how do I bring that about? By tapo, by austerity, by yajna, sacrifice, by dan, by charity, and similar others are ahimsa, brahmacharya, etc., etc. And by practicing these, what happens is Shuddha Buddhi, my intellect becomes purified. Because the fire will burn everything. Contemplation will burn everything. Contemplation, taking the name of the Lord, doing the sacrifice at a fire level must lead to subtle contemplation. Must lead to this sensory havan going on. The sensory, when you catch this yajna going on at the sensory level, it must lead to the mental havan which is going on. It's a different way of looking at your own functionings. But it is healthy. Everything will just drop away in a jiffy. Nothing to hold on. Because everything is into the fire only. There is no other, nothing else. And what is that fire? That fire is the fire of self-contemplation. And eventually it leads to that. Dayalum gurum brahmanishtam prashantam samaradya bhaktya vicharya swarupam yadapnoti tattvam nididhyasya vidwan param brahma nityam tadevahamasmi. Param brahma nityam tadevahamasmi. We'll just read it and then look at the meaning. I am that Brahman. So, Param Brahma Nityam Tadevahamasmi. I am that transcendental, eternal Brahman. That alone I am, whom a person reaches as a result of deep intellectual inquiry and unhindered contemplation of one's self. Contemplation means anusandhanam. Hooked on. Right now you are hooked on to the satsang going on. You are hooked on. That sound of the heater is coming, but it's not disturbing you. The breath is going in and coming out. It's not creating a ripple in your mind. Every time you change your position, it's not disturbing your poise. So you are totally focused. Anusandhanam. Because you have become so so focused without distraction, and you're doing it out of joy. You're not doing it out of a need. You're not doing it out of force. You're not doing it out of fear. Important. Huh? He reaches as a result of deep intellectual inquiry and unhindered contemplation of oneself. Then a person attains steadily this state after worshipping and being initiated by a noble preceptor who is merciful, ever reflecting and rejoicing in the Supreme Self. Dayalum Gurum Brahma Nishtam Prashantam. You should be initiated from such a teacher who is Dayalu, who is very kind. Kind does not mean who gives into your racket every time. That kindness can be very strict behavior also, because he wants the best to come out of you. And what is the best that can come out of you? You realizing yourself, you realizing that you are the unchanging principle, that you are hooked on to that. Because once you are hooked on to it, then you may stay there, you may go, it doesn't matter to you. Matter to him also. See? Dayalu, Gurum. Gurum is the one who is heavy. Guru is heavy to handle. Guru is heavy to handle. So to reach Guru, you have to vanish. The I has to vanish. So who is this Guru? In whom the I has vanished. He is that Guru, Guru Tattva. So we are talking about, and how did he bring that about? Brahmanishtham, by being established in the self. To establish in the self, to be the self, the ego I has to be dissolved. It cannot happen without that, isn't it? That's how, and where it has happened, automatically the Guru Tattva is effulgent, is expressing through him. It has revealed itself to him. And when that Guru Tattva reveals, that Guru Tattva, it is the eternal Guru. It is the eternal consciousness, where there is no otherness. Therefore, Dayalu, kind towards everything. Kind meaning accepting everything. What is it accepting? It's not accepting the periphery. It is not accepting the desires. It is accepting the tattva that is expressing in and through every person. It is accepting that I alone am the material cause of the creation, and I am alone the efficient cause of the creation, the nimitta upadana karana. When that comes, it's a universal vision. It's one without a second. You cannot hate anyone after that. Dayalum Gurum Brahma Nishtam. And as a result of this, he is not Shanta, he is Prashanta. What is Shanta and Prashanta? Shanti is the opposite of Ashanti. Shant is the opposite of Ashant. Ashant means the one who is disturbed, the one who cannot be quiet. Who is that? Don't look around, it's your mind. Always want to do something. And what is Shant? At night you go, it is Shant. Your mind has become quiet. It wakes up, again it is Ashant. And what is Prashant? Prashant is when you have gone beyond Shant and Ashant. We have gone beyond peace and no peace. This is transcendental peace. And how did it come about? Because the teacher has come to realize his essential self, and therefore. So, to such a teacher, we must approach Samaradya Bhaktya Vicharya Swarupam. So, Samaradya. Aradhya. What is Aradhya? Your God. Samaradhya. What does it mean?
Equivalent to Aradhya.
Samaradhya bhaktya vicharya swarupam. Samaradhya bhaktya is that you are equanimously or diligently contemplating on the higher truth. Or here, when we are talking about bhakti, it requires devotion. In devotion, there is no question of initial stages. There is no question of being the witness. You have to be involved. You are having the bhav. You are having the mantra. You are having the picture. Initial stages. Shabdanuvit savikalpa samadhi. Then higher than that is Shabdanuvit. Did I say no? Drishanuvit savikalpa samadhi. This comes after dharana. Dharana dhyan samadhi. So when we come to the result of dhyan, what are you doing dhyan on? If you are doing on a picture or the statue of the Lord, then it will take you to Drishyanu with Savikalpa Samadhi. Your mind is absorbed in the picture or the form that you have put in front of your eyes and meditating upon. Higher than that is, that form must be having some name, Ram, Krishna, Shiva, whatever. Higher than that is, the form also dissolves away and now you are in Shabdanu with Savikalpa Samadhi. That means your point of focus is the mantra, the word, the name of the Lord, and that chanting that mantra, you have gone into Samadhi. And last one, the highest one at the practice level is Nirvikalpa Samadhi, where there is no. So last one is Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Nirvikalpa Samadhi is that where there is no support in the mind, neither of the form nor of the name. That leads to Nirvikalpa. Nirvikalpa. Vikalpa means no support, no trigger, no. You're not hanging on to something to take you to withdraw from everything. So, and the last, which is higher than the Nirvikalpa Samadhi, is Sahaja Samadhi. Sahaja Samadhi is where, whether you are in meditation or with your senses open and mind functioning, you are ever and ever and ever in that natural state of disposition. What is that? Dayalum Gurum Brahmanishtam Prashantam. That will be the Sahaj Samadhi. You are functioning in the, people are seeing you functioning in the world, but what is your disposition? Sadhu bhav. What is your disposition? Oneness. Your vision is of oneness. And so here, Samaradhya Bhaktya. So first, bhakti is done for only one purpose. Tell me.
Purification.
What else? More than that. Purification is the byproduct. You don't focus on purification, but
Surrender to the Lord.
Trying to attain.
if you try to attain something, then you will go wrong. Tell someone is
Union with the self?
bhakti. No. Okay.
Shraddha, faith.
Faith. If you don't have faith, you will not have bhakti. It's not bhakti gives you faith, but it's the faith that gives you the impetus to take the name of the Lord or to be devoted to the Lord and commit to the Lord and want to merge in the Lord. So how do you do bhakti?
With feeling.
I already told you.
With feeling.
With bhav and incessant chanting and seva of the Lord. At the body level, serve the world as God. At the mind level, chant His name. At the intellect level, will come the next part. What is that? Vicharya Swarupam. That is the intellect level. So what is bhakti? Make your mind single pointed. Make your mind focused. Because you cannot come to contemplate on the truth. You know what is the name of the text? Swaroopanusandhanam. Swaroop is your own essential form. What is that form? It is the formless form. Atma is the formless form. How do you come to it? How do you suss it out? How do you intuit it? If it is already there, then why am I not being it? So you have to cut through. You have to cut through all the distractions that are there. For that, bhakti is required. Single pointed focus. Build up the stamina, build up the surrender, as you said. Build up the bhakti, devotion. Okay. So mere chanting is not enough. Along with that, bhav also is there. Bhav will only come when you have faith in what you are practicing, in what the goal is, in what the mantra is, what it's going to result in. All that collectively is called as the bhakti bhav. To merge into to merge the mind, to surrender the mind. See? And once the mind has become fairly focused, every session of the meditation you come, do a bit of asana, do a bit of pranayam, you come to the seat of meditation, offer everything to the Guru Maharaj, close your eyes, do whatever has to be done and start chanting the name of the Lord. And it makes your mind quiet. It will straight away not take you to the self, even though you are the self, because you have not got the stamina yet. So mind for some time becomes quiet. The moment mind becomes quiet, what do? Vicharya Swarupam. Vicharya Swarupam. Vicharya, contemplate. Meditate. On what? On the essence. It must, taking the name of the Lord or practicing bhakti must lead to this. Answer is not outside. Answer is not objective in nature. Objective self will be what? God. Subjective self is the Atma. You can't even call that. We have seen that. So in this manner, samaradhya bhaktya vicharya swarupam. Vicharya, contemplate. Look at. You cannot catch it. You cannot contemplate on it. Yet through words, through some trigger points, like we said before, what was it? Where are we? That once I had dropped everything, the stimuli are not there, thoughts are not there. Now what is left? I'm still there, but there's nothing. So are you focusing on nothing, or are you focusing on the being, the one in whose presence the mind is expressing as nothing or something, which is thoughts? So this will not automatically come about until unless you are not practiced, until unless you are not studying under a teacher. It can happen. I'm not saying it cannot happen. You don't need a teacher in that sense, but then the teacher within you will reveal himself when you are focused enough. Yadapnoti tattvam nididhyasya vidwan, and then you accept the tattvam, the essence, nididhyasya vidwan, the wise ones then contemplate upon it. First they were thinking about it, now they are meditating upon it. Vicharya swarupam, vicharya means is through thoughts. Then nididhyasya vidwan, now no thoughts. They are being that. They have accepted that what I was thinking about is me. Stop. Param Brahma Nityam Tadevaham Asmi. We will conclude here. Is it? No, still time. I thought I looked at that. It shows 9 minutes, 7 seconds. I said, oh, I've gone beyond. It started again. So we read this again. Dayalum Gurum Brahmanishtham Prashantam Samaradhya Bhaktya Vicharya Swarupam Yadapnoti Tattvam Nididhyasya Vidwan Param Brahma Nityam Tadevaham Asmi Param Brahma Nityam Tadevaham Asmi. How beautiful verses, huh? Next. Yadanandarupam prakashaswarupam nirastaprapancham parichhedahinam aham brahma vrityeka gamyam turiyam param brahma nityam tadevaham asmi param brahma nityam tadevaham asmi. Yadananda Rupam Prakasha Swarupam Nirasta Prapancham Parichhedahinam Aham Brahma Vritti Ekagamyam Turiyam Param Brahma Nityam Tadevaham Asmi. And what is it? What is this? Here now no practice. Practice is over in the first two verses. The fine tuning, withdrawing from everything, and then making your mind single pointed, and then doing the meditation on that, and coming to realize that I am that Brahman. And this must not, the first verse and the second verse is your lifetime practice. Don't live in an imagination, oh, I got realized, now I don't need to do anything. Like I did, Oh, I think I have come into samadhi, now I don't need to. Start drinking, start enjoy, going there, doing everything that is not required. Then you realize, where is that peace gone? Okay, go back to the seat of meditation. Again everything leaves. ऐसे नहीं. You keep practicing for the rest of your life. When it actually clicks, then there is nowhere to go back to. The one that is yad ananda rupam, it is of the nature of bliss. Not only anand, paramananda rupam, infinite bliss. Prakasha swarum. Anand means what? When do we feel the maximum bliss in our life? When do we feel the maximum bliss in our life? When there, more than sleep. Here, see, listen to the question. I didn't ask. Just that. So, is that going to help you if you say sleep? No, then be very alert. So when I ask, when do you experience maximum bliss? Our response should be when there are no thoughts in the mind. That is possible in meditation also. That is possible in sleep also, isn't it? Why should I only say sleep? That means I am not accepting that it is possible between the two thoughts, that it is possible only even when I am alert and not sleeping. Is it not possible? It is possible. So your response should be all inclusive. All options should be included. Don't get takya kalam mat karo. Takya kalam means default setting. Don't go into that. This is alertness. This is alertness. That my response should be such that I am not getting caught up in a framework, in a condition. I want to get to a conditionless mind. If I am by choosing such words, I am choosing a condition, then I'm stuck in that condition. I have accepted that condition. That means I'm objective in it. But what is my nature? Beyond all conditions, it's unconditional. Self is unconditional. So when our attention is on that, then answer will automatically come. When I say What is that condition where we experience maximum bliss? It is that condition where now you are when you are introspecting yourself, it is that condition where there are no thoughts in the mind. We are not saying sleep, we are not saying samadhi, we are not saying coma, we are not saying death. All these places there are no thoughts. But we have come to the principle. And what is the principle? Chitta vritti nirodha. Chitta vritti nirodha leads to anand. Leads to. It doesn't lead to nothingness. It doesn't lead to void. It doesn't lead to emptiness or absence. It leads to anand. And anand cannot be an inert. Anand is your nature. So it means it leads to the self. What? Absence of all thoughts. We saw that yesterday in Ishavasya Upanishad. Absence of all thoughts is equal to the revelation of the self. There is nothing in between the two. When the last thought goes, self reveals. No, but if you take step by step liberation, because option has to be given, all different type of mindsets are there. And then we say what? Oh, from the intellect, where the last thought is coming, you go to the total thought. From the total thought you go to the no thought. From the no thought, you wait for the Devi to come and tell you, hey, go that way. And then you go that way. Where? That way. That is also, for those devotees, that is perfect. That is perfect. For them, if that is their disposition. But here we are studying Shankaracharya composition. He is straight, without any distractions. Then Prakasha Swarupam. This essence is not only Ananda Rupam, but it also is Prakasha Swarupam. That means it is of the nature of self-effulgence. It is of the nature of light. What does that mean? What does that signify? That there is no darkness possible. And what does darkness, another word for darkness? There is no ignorance possible. What are the offshoots of ignorance? Kama karma. Avidya kama karma. What does that mean? Ignorance, its child is desire, and its grandchild is karma, action, which involves the doership and enjoyership. So all this is absent. Why? It's of the nature of light. Light also means knowledge. Light also means that transcendental knowledge, that knowledge which is in spite of the words. It is of the nature of knowledge. Just like sun is of the nature of light. Can you remove the light from the sun? Then it will not be a sun. So similarly, this Swarup that we are talking about, it is of the nature of Anand and it is of the nature of Prakash. Meaning, it is of the nature of knowledge. And it is what knowledge? It is the knowledge of the self. And how is this knowledge of the self? Without thoughts. Because thoughts are a product of ignorance. Thoughts are a product of, at one level, they are a product of avidya, ignorance. Okay? Because if we accept thoughts are of the nature of self, which they are, because self is everything, but then you don't have to read these verses. So we are reading. Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasa saha. This Swarup is that where the words cannot reach. The words cannot illuminate. The words cannot illuminate the self. The sun cannot illuminate your eyes because your eyes are illuminating the sun. Your eyes cannot illuminate the mind because mind is illuminating the eyes. The mind cannot illuminate the intellect. Intellect is illuminating the mind. The intellect cannot illuminate the self because in the light of the self, the intellect and the mind and the senses and the world is being seen. See how it is, how wonderful it is. Prakasha Swarupam, you are of the nature of light. So there is no question of mala, there is no question of dirt, there is no question of what do you call ignorance. There is no then if there is no ignorance, you are of the nature of no fear. So one of the qualities of a realized master is abhaya. He is fearless wherever he is. Nirasta prapancham parichhedahinam, and what does it mean? Parichhedahinam means pariched is indivisible, and nirasta prapancham. Nirasta prapancham is that this Swarup is beyond the worldly nature. Worldly nature means nature is made out of what? Space, air, fire, water, earth. The admixture of these five elements is making all the possible permutations, combinations that you call as creation. It's the mixture of these five elements. But and in that also you add your body, your senses, your mind, your intellect. Nature is this. So one is the gross nature, one is the subtle nature. Gross nature is the five elements, and those five elements in their subtle form alone go to make the senses. And the source of that is the mind, and the mind is mind and the intellect, or the what do you call antakaran, mana buddhi chitta ahankar. The mind alone is expressing as mind, intellect, memory and ego. So in this way, nirasta prapancham, that this Swarup, which is of the nature of bliss, which is of the nature of light, is beyond the worldly nature, meaning it is that which does not change. Worldly nature goes through the flux of involvement and withdrawal. But this Swarup, it never gets involved, it never gets withdrawn. It's ever the same, it's the constant one. And that I am. What is that I am? Param Brahma Nityam Tadevaham Asmi. And known. So Pariched Nirasta Prapancham Parichedahinam. And he comes to contemplate on that and known through Aham Brahma Vritti Ekagamyam Turiyam. Aham Brahma Vritti. What is this Aham? Aham is I. Brahma is I am Brahman. Vritti means thought. Ekagamyam, single pointed thought. There is no other thought coming and disturbing it. Ekagamyam, I am one. And Turiyam, and I am the transcendental. So here it is told that I am the Supreme Self, which is the supreme stage above all eternal, all and eternal, above all. So in other words, Aham Brahmasmi Vritti. We say, what is the truth? Aham Brahmasmi. When it is one of the, it comes where? It comes in Mandukya Upanishad. Aham Brahmasmi. What are the four famous statements of truth? Tattvamasi, Aham Brahmasmi, Prajnanam Brahma, Ayam Atma Brahma. This Atma is the infinite Brahman. So in this way, one of them is Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman. So when you're hooked to your own self, your mind is hooked to yourself, to the self, and contemplating, it's still not given up all the thoughts. From all the thoughts, after doing the dan, tapasya, and all that, and given up the world, discarded the world, contemplated on the self, did the bhakti, came to contemplation, meditation. Meditation is not also the answer. But you can get through there. But after that, now what? In meditation, one must come to this Aham Brahmasmi Vritti. So Om must lead to. Om is objective. Om, Om, Om. What next? It must lead to Aham Brahmasmi. I am all that is. But Aham Brahmasmi also, chanting the mantra Aham Brahmasmi, Aham Brahmasmi, Aham Brahmasmi in your mind is not equal to being the Brahman. This mantra also must dissolve. But we must, this must be similar, just as koham, who am I? Who am I is not a question. You sit in the middle, take a mala, who am I? Log pagal bolenge. Who am I is not a question to be done japa on. Then what happens? When you have done all this, then you automatically this question arises in your mind, who am I? Similarly, this Aham Brahmasmi, when there is nothing to hold on to, and you are contemplated in the right manner, positive, focused on the self, but you know self cannot be known. Now there is nothing to hold on in the world, it has already dissolved. Self cannot be known. This is your dilemma right now. So what is there? Instead of saying there is a darkness, there is void, there is emptiness, you have trained your mind, or you have come to understand, if you have contemplated correctly. Remember the previous verse, what was it? Vicharya Swarupam. If you are doing, you're inquiring into the Swarup, then you will come to Aham Brahmasmi Vritti. You will come to I am Brahman. And that either it can be by thought initially, but later on it is a thought-free experience. It's an experienceless experience. And this way, Param Brahma Nityam Tadevaham Asmi. That transcendental, eternal Brahman, that alone I am. In this way, the student, after studying the Upanishads, contemplates. We'll just read these three verses. Tapo yajna danadibhi shuddha buddhihi virakto nrupade pade tuchha buddhya parityajya sarvam yadapnoti tattvam param brahma nityam tadevahamasmi dayalum gurum brahma nishtham prashantam samaradhya bhaktya vicharya swarupam yadapnoti tattvam nididhyasya vidwan param brahma nityam tadevahamasmi yadanandarupam prakashaswarupam nirasta prapancham parichhedahinam aham brahma vrityeka gamyam turiyam param brahma nityam tadevahamasmi param brahma nityam tadevahamasmi. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Just sit quietly for a moment. Hari Om.